So there's a big chance you've got more than one outline tool. The most common outline tool is a 2-flute compression cutter, which we use for our MDF. However, there's a good chance you've probably got a 3-wing for your HMR board and probably a 12mm comp for the thicker material that's 25mm and over. Luckily, S2M has some great features in which we can assign different materials those specific tools to use. The first way we'll look at is setting up some global overrides that will be used all the time. For this, we'll set up a material that's over 25mm to use a 12mm compression cutter, and we'll set our 3-wing 10mm cutter to cut our HMR. To access this portion of the program, we'll need to select Utilities from the top of the screen and select our material catalog. The first thing we'll need to do in this area is import our Cabinet Vision materials across that we want to add the overrides to. We can do this by selecting this import icon from the top of the screen. On the next screen, we'll select that we want to import materials from Cabinet Vision. The materials in the Cabinet Vision material database will now appear below. Clicking any of the headings will help filter the list in order of the column you select. For example, I could sort by name and make finding my white and black HMR much easier. Once I find them, I can click this little box to select them, and I'll then click my thickness button to sort it by thickness and choose all the material that is thicker than 25mm. Once I've selected all the materials I want to add any sort of tool override to, I will click Import and then Close. You'll now see the materials I've selected added to the list. This now means S2M has saved them to its own database and will recognize them when they are used in a job that has been sent to the S2M Center to be cut. We can now click on HMR Black, select this outline selection icon, and now we can select a tool for this material. Make sure to select it for both sides of the board. That is, that it will use the same cutter for the face and the back of the board. I'll select my 3-wing cutter for both sides. Once you're happy with your selection, click OK. Again, I'll now select my HMR white and select the outline selection icon, choose my tool again and hit OK. Finally, I'll do the same process for my 25mm board and select my 12mm cutter. Now, anytime you use any of these materials in any job, S2M will know to use those cutters for the outline instead of the one you have chosen inside the tool catalog earlier. We can then click Close on our material catalog and we'll be back to the standard S2M screen. Sometimes you may want to change this tool for a one-off in a job. Let's say the color panel for this particular job is particle board. In this case, we want to be able to set this so that it only happens for one job. To do this, we'll click back to our main tab and choose Materials. We can now select our color panel by right-clicking on the icon, selecting Properties, and choosing the Tools tab. From here, we can select a tool just as we did before on both sides for the face and back. I'll go ahead and select my 3-wing cutter and click OK. You'll see this small green symbol appear letting you know that an override has been created for your tools. Just like removing the other overrides we made, if we want to remove this tool override, we can right-click back on the icon and choose Remove Tool Override. So we've made it through the materials section of this course. You're about to have another quiz, so remember, if you're not sure, dig around those menus and double check they're not timed. If you need to, go back and watch the video again. That's completely okay. Once we're done with that and you're feeling comfortable, the next section we're going to look at is the parts list and how we can make a few final changes to our parts before we send them to the nesting machine.